Hello? What is going on? Hello? What is going on? Why can I hear myself right now? What is this? Where's this echo coming from? Why can I hear myself right now? What is this? Where's this echo coming from? Oh, okay. There we go. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend, Dilbert, everybody. Ooh, clap, clap, clap. I rewatched my stream yesterday. I noticed a few things that I need to cease immediately. Number one is, this is embarrassing. Well, it's not embarrassing because I've been doing it live anyway. I do this thing. I have like an oral fixation problem, right? And I do this thing where I like do this to my face. And hey, go, yeah. And it probably looks really freaking weird, right? It's even weirder when you hear why I'm doing it. Oh, I can't do it now. I have like a little mustache here. Oh, it's still there. I have a little mustache here. And I like to put it in my mouth and play with it. It looks really dumb when people are watching it live. So I shouldn't do that. Yeah, it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. I just do stuff with my mouth and my hands all the time, so I gotta learn how to stop doing all of that. Hey mom, good morning. After yesterday's debate, I don't think that I debated incorrectly per se, but I do think that I have the rhetorical understanding of many moral frameworks to be able to argue against someone that's done more research on it. Just don't. Like if someone like pulls an idea out of their butt, I don't have the knowledge to be able to say you're wrong, which is bad. I don't want this to become like a debate channel. I don't want to be known for, no, I don't want it to be purely debate. But I do want to be able to use, maybe not debate tactics, but I just want to understand philosophy more in depth so that I can utilize a proper moral framework to discern why I feel and think the way I do, if that makes sense. Because when you're arguing against or for something and you don't know why you're doing it, then it's really easy for people to poke holes into it. And that's exactly what happened yesterday with the argument I had. It's like, sure, I had this idea that everyone is self-interested, which is what drives me to believe what I do. But when this guy comes and he's like, being homosexual is bad because teleologically, meaning finally, like that is the purpose of something, that humans, man and female, are so only supposed to be with male and female. I could argue to the best of my abilities why I don't think that's true, but if he has better rhetoric, he has better logic, there is no way that I can convince someone, the audience, that it is true. Even if I believe it to be true, that it's okay. Like there is nothing wrong morally with being gay. There's only things wrong, you know, to people. And I guess that's the problem. Like, I can't even do it now. It's like, to some people, morally, being gay is wrong. So how do you convince someone that morally what they believe isn't correct? Right? You have to be very skilled at not only persuasion, but very skilled at being able to not regurgitate, but dictate, I guess, knowledge on a topic to the point where someone feels that they might need to read more or might need to understand it better to really make the decision that something is wrong or something is good. So that's what we're doing today. We're learning about a whole bunch of philosophy stuff. We're going to start off with Wikipedia, and then we're going to go on from there. Starting off with Wikipedia just to get like a good basis, a good support. And then once we do that, we're going to look at some research papers. I don't know if I'm going to read like an entire philosophy book on stream because philosophy is rather boring to watch someone do. But I don't know. I mean, this is the beginning of my streaming career, so if that's what can help me in the future and I don't want to do it off the camera, then why not do it on the camera, even if it's boring? Because at least there is some like, evidence, proof that I have done the research. I also care so much about this because I was called a troll in a Discord today, actually, just like maybe a few minutes ago. I don't think I was called I asked him why he thought I was a troll. And I think the genuine reason that they thought I was a troll was because they don't agree with my opinions, or more so that my opinions seem to be based off of logic that isn't sound to the point where it's absurd for me to believe what it is I believe, which is fair. They think that my beliefs are illogical, therefore they can't be real, therefore I must be a troll. I can understand how they could come to that conclusion. While I'm not trolling, I do believe the things I say. I think that I need to become a little bit more learned, as some might say, on these topics, so that when someone does test my beliefs, I'm able to accurately and like intelligently describe and define why it is I have these beliefs in the first place. Because otherwise people won't ever take me seriously, Like my goal is not to be a joke or lowkyle. My goal is for people to take me seriously and to like respect what I say. And when I say respect, I mean like in a power way, but like, oh, this guy has like some reason to be trusted with what he's saying. I don't want people to just assume that I'm disingenuous or deceitful, etc. So for the next few days, we are going to be going all through ethics. I should be spending this time doing math. I should be doing math for 8 hours a day, but I don't. But I mean, if I was like in a normal college, I wouldn't be doing one class all day anyway, so. Because this is like like when you're listening to this, you're basically listening to an audiobook right now. An audiobook with commentary. This water, awesome. Ah, yes, very tasty. Okay. So the first thing that we are going into today is called deontology. I told someone that I was an egoist, and he said that I was a retard. Not very nice of him. Where's my music at? Okay, there you go. There's the music. Okay, wait a second. I need this music to be playing so I can hear it. Gonna have a little bit of music in the background. I don't want you guys to just hear my voice. It's not that interesting or intriguing or fun. What the heck? My cat is like messing with the floorboards right now. She's losing her mind, man. Losing her mind. Okay, let's see if I can get this music to work. Nope, that's not playing in my ears. Give me 1 second, guys. There's a problem with using Bluetooth headphones on a stream. I have to charge it. I have to connect it. Like, it's not just a plug, you know? When stuff starts going wireless, it always starts breaking. That's my belief system. That's my true belief system. Wireless is poisoning our brains. The 5G waves are destroying us. All right, so I'm going to turn this down in my ear. And then turn it up just a tad bit. All right, that should be a good volume right there. Okay, you get it, exactly. My mom gets it, my mom gets it. Very boring few days coming up here. Well, tomorrow's my last day for the week, but we gotta do what we gotta do, man. We gotta do what we gotta do. All right. Deontology. The reason why I chose deontology as the first moral philosophy or ethical philosophy is because it's one of the top 3 most followed, agreed upon philosophies. It's deontology, virtue ethics, and consequentialism. So we'll be going over all 3 of those, and then finally egotism, or egoism, not egotism, egoism, because I think that egoism is based. Wow, look at all these schools of ethics, man. It looks like, I mean, this is insane. It looks like egoism actually isn't actually an ethical framework or ethical philosophy in the first place, or moral philosophy is what they're calling it. Confucianism, absolutism, Epicureanism, error theory. What the heck? Dude, these words are so big, bro. Oh, intuitionism, moralism, nihilism, non-cognitivism, particularism, perspectivism, projectivism, realism, anti-realism, relativism, whoa, I don't know, stoicism, subjectivism, Taoism. Okay, I'm not reading all these. This is crazy. Too many isms, bro. There is such thing as too many isms. What I do find interesting, though, not that the fact that there's all these moral philosophies, but I find it interesting that like things like stoicism would be considered a moral philosophy. I thought stoicism was more of like a way to behave. Like it would be behavioral, not moral, but apparently it's moral. I am wearing contacts right now, so I have to zoom this in super far because for some reason my contacts just do not do me right. I don't know why. I don't know if they're dirty. Like I feel like the problem with contacts is like when you put them in your eye, they're kind of like your fingers are like always going to be just a tad bit oily. And when you pick up, I've never understood why they make contact cases like this. To grab a contact, you have to put your finger on the part that touches your eye. Why? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You would think that you would want to put it on the part that faces outwards because the part that touches your eye, I imagine, doesn't ever get like clean. Or at least your eyelids can clean the outside of the contact. Your eyeball doesn't clean the inside. Like, I don't know. I think it's a flaw. It's a fatal flaw. Anyway. Deontology, let's get into it. I will be Googling things I don't know, which will be a lot because a lot of these words I've never ever heard of. And that's just what it's got to be. To fully understand what it is I'm reading, I have to understand it. And to understand it, I have to look at definitions. So, without any further qualifying, let's get straight into it. Take a little bit of puff of the vape here. And wet my mouth first. It's gonna be a lot of talking for me today. A whole lot. Reading entire Wikipedia articles out loud is quite insane when you think about it. If I really was taking this serious, I would take notes, but I don't feel like taking any notes, so. Okay. In moral philosophy, deontological ethics or deontology from the Greek, whatever that means, obligation, duty. I guess this word is deon, and this word is tology. So deon just means obligation or duty. Is the normative ethical theory. Okay, what the frick is normative ethics? Normative ethics is the study of ethical behavior and is the branch of philosophical ethics that investigates questions regarding how one ought to act in a moral sense. Okay, thank you for that. So normative ethics is how one ought to act. So, deontology. Oh,
This is a reminder. Feed Marvin.
already fed Marvin. Don't worry about that, guys. I need to remove that reminder.
This is a reminder. Feed Marvin.
Okay. Deontology is the normative ethical theory that the morality of an action should be based on whether that action itself is right or wrong under a series of rules and principles, rather than based on the consequences of the action. Okay. It is sometimes described as duty, obligation, or rule-based ethics. Deontological ethics is commonly contrasted to consequentialism, utilitarianism, virtue ethics, and pragmatic ethics. In this terminology, action is more important than the consequences. All right, there we go. So it is the idea that it's the idea that the morality, that's a little too loud in my ear. I don't know how it is for you guys. It's too loud for me though. I just need to do like a tick. I guess just, okay. That's good for me. I hope it's good for you guys. Where are we at? Okay. So my understanding so far is that deontology bases your morality on what it is you're doing based on rules and principles rather than the consequences of what it is you're doing. So you should be guided by rules and principles rather than the consequences of what. It's too loud still? Okay. How's that right there? That should be good, right? Should be a lot better. Let's see. I could just watch it. Testing, testing, testing. Reading about philosophy. One more test. One more test. That's good. Sweet. All right. Okay. The term deontological was first used to describe the current specialized. Is that really specialized? I thought specialized was spelled with a Z. This is an alternative spelling of specialized. It is. Okay, it's the British spelling of specialized. Specialized, not specialized. Okay. The term deontological was first used to describe the current specialized definition by C.D. Broad in his 1930 book, 5 Types of Ethical Theory. Older usage of the term goes back to Jeremy Bentham, who coined it prior to 1816 as a synonym of didactic or sensorial ethics, i.e., ethics based on judgment. The more general sense of the word is retained in French, especially in the term code de deontology. Wow, ethical code. In the context of professional ethics. Depending on the system of deontological ethics under consideration, a moral obligation may arise from an external or internal source, such as a set of rules inherent to the universe, ethical naturalism, religious law, or a set of personal or cultural values, any of which may be in conflict with personal desires. Dude, this is like, even the Wikipedia article is just this. This is brain breaking, bro. Okay, I need to read this one more time, guys. Sorry. I don't think I care too much about where it came from. I mean, maybe I should. Who is C.D. Broad? He was an epistemologist, historian of philosophy, philosopher of science, moral philosopher, and writer on the philosophical aspects of physical research. Okay. All right, cool. He wrote it in a book. Let's see. I can read this book at the open library. What does that even mean? Philosophical Ethics in 1982. Can you read a book out loud on the internet without it being copyrighted? I imagine you can, right? Who knows? Okay, we out here reading Wikipedia footnotes. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know it's real. Okay, but this is the part that I was a little confused on. Okay, depending on the system of deontological ethics under consideration, a moral obligation may arise from an external or internal source, such as a set of rules inherent to the universe, religious law, or a set of personal. Okay, I think I understand that. So the basis upon which I'm not going to try to be too smart here. Basically, someone's morality under deontology, which is that it's action based, determining what actions are good or bad, come from external or internal sources, of which could be ethical naturalism, religious law, or personal cultural values, even when they conflict with desires of the self. Okay. There are numerous formulations for deontological ethics. The good Sir Immanuel Kant. I tried to get a book for Immanuel Kant when I was at the bookstore, but then I wound up getting a book on, what's this guy's name? Oh, Niccolo Machiavelli. Yeah. It was like a collection of all his works other than just The Prince. I started reading it and then I stopped reading it because reading is hard. I just need to set out like 30 minutes a day to read this. Like, there's literally no reason not to. All right. Kantianism. All these isms, man. Too many isms, bro. Racism, Kantianism, culturalism. Can we get less isms? Okay. Immanuel Kant's theory of ethics is considered deontological for several different reasons. First, Kant argues that in order to act in the morally right way, people must act from duty. The duty. We keep seeing this duty word here. Let's see what duty is. A duty from due, meaning that which is owing, is a commitment or expectation to perform some action in general, or if certain circumstances arise. What the hell does any of this mean? I'm about to watch a crash course video before I have to read the Wikipedia article, because the Wikipedia article, like, obviously, like, these ideas aren't too complex, but for some reason, they're not rocking with my brain right now, man. They're not. I need like a crash course. I need something easily digestible before I go into the difficult. That's what I need. Actually, their crash course on deontology. I need a long video. I hate all these like 1 minute, 3 minute videos that are like, oh, here's what this is in 20 seconds. When there's a Wikipedia page that's this long. Oh, it's actually not that long. But it's long enough to maybe not have a 3 minute video, but whatever. Let's just see. Let's go here. And there, okay. Let's mute the music. All right. We need a crash course on deontology because this is We're gonna queue up a few videos here. Trying to get a good grasp on this. Uh-oh. Add to queue. Add to queue. One more, just to get some differing opinions on this. Okay, you can't get all your information from one source. Okay, it's not how this works. We can't live like this.
What is deontological ethics? Deontological ethics is one of the three major theories of
Is this a robot talking?
normative ethics, along with virtue ethics and consequentialism.
This sounds like a robot.
Deontology comes.
I don't want to listen to a robot. If I wanted to listen to a robot, I would turn text to speech on in Wikipedia.
Deontology.
Oh, Jesus.
Deontology is an ethical theory that uses rules to distinguish right from wrong. It is often associated with philosopher Immanuel Kant. Kant believed that ethical actions follow universal moral laws, such as don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat.
But
Deontology
why?
is simple to apply. It just
Why?
requires that
Where did these ideas come from? Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. Deontology is just saying that we shouldn't, that our actions should be based on these ideals of don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, without worrying about the consequence, but just based purely on the fact that they are considered immoral from external or internal factors. I guess the Wikipedia article gives way to what the why is, which I think the why is ontology, ontological meaning, or the ontological reasoning. Let's see what ontology means. What? Okay, maybe epistemology. Why is my screen like so not zoomed in? I cannot see anything. Okay, there we go. Epistemology is the branch of philosophy that examines nature, origin, and limits of knowledge. Bro, this is not helping me. This is so unhelpful. How is anyone supposed to learn any of this ever when it's all written? Like, ugh. Okay, let's look at the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Wow, that text is tiny. Can I not just permanently zoom? Hopefully this doesn't show anything you guys aren't supposed to see. So I can't just permanently zoom? So I have to zoom every time I go to a web page? Oh wait, fonts. Oh, default zoom, here we go. Let's put it at 150. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. And this one is, the words on this page are in like freaking 10-point font right now. What is that sound I just heard? Whatever. Okay. The term epistemology comes from the Greek words episteme and logos. Episteme or episteme can be translated as knowledge or understanding or acquaintance, while logos can be translated as account or argument or reason. Just as each of these different translations captures some facet of the meaning of these Greek terms, so too does each translation capture a different facet of epistemology itself. Although the term epistemology is no more than a couple of centuries old, the field of epistemology is at least as old as any philosophy. In different parts of its extensive history, different facets of epistemology have attracted attention. Why is like philosophy stuff written in such a stupid way? Tell me what it is first, in detail, before you tell me why it is. Like, how do you go from this is what it means in Greek? I'm not Greek. Obviously, the word is translated from Greek, but I'm not Greek. So how about you just explain to me what it is? Okay, so this is epistemology. I think epistemology is what? What is something? Whereas ontology is why is something. Natural language ontology, logic and ontology, history of the oh, what? As a first approximation, ontology is a study of what there is. Some contest this formulation of what ontology is, so it's only a first approximation. Why is it that every single thing involving philosophy is questioned and argued upon? I mean, I get why, but it's so crazy. They're like, oh, this is what it means, but actually, like, only half the people that use this word think it means this, and the other half think this. So you have to determine for yourself what this means. Why? I need help. I need help. This is why I like philosophy. I think that self-teaching philosophy is so hard. It's so hard. This is mind-breaking, okay? Help me learn, help me understand philosophy. There you go. Help me understand philosophy, please, because I don't get it. I don't understand what it is I'm looking at. I don't understand what it is I'm reading. All of this seems like humble mumbo jumbo to me, genuinely. And I'm not trolling. I might actually just be unintelligent. That is a possibility, yes. Okay, let's try to read this again. The question whether or not there is a God, or the problem of existence of universals, etc. These are all problems in ontology in the sense that they deal with whether or not a certain thing, or more broadly, entity exists. But ontology is usually also taken to accomplish problems about the most general features and relations of the entities which do exist. There are also a number of classical philosophical problems that are problems in ontology understood in this way. For example, the problem of how a universal relates to a particular that has it. What are they saying? What does that mean? Why do they have to use words like this? Okay. For example, the problem of how a universal relates to a particular that has it, assuming there are universals and particulars, or the problem of how an event like John eating a cookie relates to the particulars John and the cookie. What the frick is a universal? From this explanation, I understand what a particular is like things, I imagine. I'm sure I'm dumbing it down, but there's also probably a super stupid, long, dumb explanation of what a particular is. And the relation of eating, assuming there are events, particulars, and relations. These kinds of problems quickly turn into metaphysics more generally, which is the philosophical discipline that encompasses ontology as one of its parts. The borders here are a little fuzzy, but we have at least two parts of the overall philosophical project of ontology. On our preliminary understanding of it, first say what there is, what exists, what the stuff of reality is made out of. Secondly, say what the most general features and relations of these things are. Okay, so ontology is the what? Ontology versus, yeah, so the opposite of ontology, or the helper of ontology, is epistemology, right? Let me read this again. I don't understand. Okay, it says, in all of these cases, epistemology seeks to understand one or another kind of cognitive success or correspondingly cognitive failure. There are many different kinds of cognitive success, and they differ from one another along various dimensions. Exactly what these various kinds of success are, and how they differ from each other, and how they are explanatorily related to each other, and how they can be achieved or obstructed, are all matters of controversy. Nice. Great. Wow. This section provides some background to these various controversies. What kinds of things enjoy cognitive success? Cognitive success can differ from each other by virtue of qualifying different kinds of things. For instance, a cognitive success like that of making a discovery may be the success of a person, Marie Curie, or of a laboratory, Los Alamos, or of a people, the Hopi, or even perhaps of a psychological fragment of a person, the unconscious. But some kinds of cognitive success, like that of having successfully cultivated a highly discriminating palate, say, may be the success of a person and perhaps even of a people, but cannot be the success of a laboratory or of a psychological fragment. And other kinds of cognitive success, like that of being conclusively established by all the available evidence, may be the success of a theory, but cannot be the success of a person, or like that of being epistemically fruitful, may be the success of a research program or of a particular proof strategy, but not of a theory. Dude, I don't know what I'm reading. I don't know what I'm reading. Like, I'm reading the words, I'm looking at the words, and none of it makes sense. None of this makes sense. The words go out of my mouth and they go into my brain and they go into my eyes and into my brain. And my brain processes it, and it immediately throws it out because it says, I don't know what the heck this means. Oh, this is oy vey. Okay, whatever. Let's just watch the video.
That people follow the rules and do their duty. This approach tends to fit well with our natural intuition about what is or isn't ethical. Unlike consequentialism, which judges actions by their results, deontology doesn't require weighing the costs and benefits of a situation. This avoids subjectivity and uncertainty because you only have to follow set rules.
How does it avoid subjectivity and uncertainty when the rules upon which it's built on must be subjective? What?
Despite its strengths, rigidly following deontology can produce results that many people find unacceptable. For example, suppose you're a software engineer and learn that a nuclear missile is about to launch that might start a war. You can hack the network and cancel the launch, but it's against your professional code of ethics to break into any software system without permission. And it's a form of lying and cheating. Deontology advises not to violate these rules. However, in letting the missile launch, thousands of people will die. So, following the rules makes deontology easy to apply. But it also means disregarding the possible consequences of our actions.
Okay.
One answer comes from the work of German philosopher Immanuel Kant, who is the most widely known exponent of an ethical theory called deontology. Deontology comes from the Greek word deon, meaning duty. This means that actions are either good or bad.
Duty. Sounds like you said with a G or a J. Duty.
Right or wrong, based on whether they are consistent with moral duties. In Immanuel Kant's philosophy, we are bound by a universal law, a set of duties that are entirely rational and don't allow for any exceptions. Immanuel Kant believed that ethics was about having a good will, that is, a will to do what's right simply because it's right. Not because it will feel good, not because it'll produce the best outcomes, but because that's what must be done.
Okay, but this is the argument of what ought to be and what is. See, I know a little something. How can you argue about what ought to be in terms of philosophy? Okay, that's a dumb question. How can you argue that people ought to do something if that's not what people actually do? It doesn't make any sense. What's up, Jack? So deontology is rules is equal to morality? I think from what I know so far that deontology is morality is based upon rules. So yes. More like if rules equal, it's like more like if morality equals true, then I don't know how to say that. I probably could type it in code. The only reason I'm thinking of a code is because you use the double equal sign. So I immediately just think of like code logic. But yeah, I think basically, yeah. Morality cannot exist without a set of predefined principles and rules. And those predefined principles and rules are what dictate what morality can be, or what is good. Pseudocode logic out for me. Bro, I can't. I barely understand this. We're the same, but we got to learn together because I barely know.
Promise to another professional that you'll partner with them on a business project. Later on, you find out that partnering with that person...
Just joined, so trying to understand. Haven't heard of this before. Yeah, I literally just learned what this was this morning when someone said that my moral beliefs were stupid because they weren't upon one of like the top three moral... Well, what does Wikipedia call it? Let's not create new words here. Moral philosophies. And the top three are right here, actually. Consequentialism, deontology, and virtue ethics. So right now I'm learning about deontology. What the heck? Dude, my cat is always doing some crazy stuff. I'm currently learning about deontology. Next, I'll be going on to virtue ethics and then consequentialism.
Might tarnish your reputation. They're known to play fast and loose with the rules. Let's say you've made a promise to another professional that you'll partner with them on a business project. Later on, you find out that partnering with that person might tarnish your reputation. They're known to play fast and loose with the rules, and serious professionals want nothing to do with them. Many people would advise you to cut ties. Deontology reminds us that we're obliged to keep our promises, even when they come at a personal cost. At the core of deontology is the idea that...
Okay. At first glance, it sounds stupid. At first glance, it sounds really dumb. Why would I ever do something like, wait. If I have a set belief of morals that I never deviate from, like if my moral is to do good upon everyone, is that possible? Like, can that even be a moral, or can that be a rule or principle? But what if my principle is like, because according to this Wikipedia article, one of the foundations or one of these rules or principles or codes, I guess, they call it an external or internal source here, is religious law. In the Bible, and I'm not religious, but in the Bible, if I were to be using religious law as an example, in the Bible, it says that I am supposed to treat others, this is a little reductionist, but treat others as I want to be treated. The golden rule. Do unto him as you want done upon yourself. How am I supposed to do that and also follow deontology? Unless that's my only rule. But obviously, religious law has more than one rule. So what if my rules and principles contradict each other? Am I then supposed to just decide what? Oh gosh. It sounds nice on paper, but maybe can't handle the nuance of reality. I feel like that's a lot of moral philosophy. Oh no, I just ripped the contact out. I hate contacts. It's like at the top of my eye now. Oh wait, I think I'm getting it back. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good.
shouldn't make special exceptions. At the core of deontology is the idea that we shouldn't make special exceptions for ourselves or for other people in our decision making. Immanuel Kant encouraged people to consider, would it be rational for everyone to act this way? Could what I propose to do be a universal rule?
Okay. If everyone's number one rule or principle is do unto you what you want done upon others, would that work? Would there ever be a reason to break this principle under deontology? If everyone is morally good, is there room for anyone to be morally bad? No. I don't think so, but I mean, isn't that obvious? I guess this is my problem with what I was saying earlier, is this is what ought to be. Everyone ought to be morally righteous and good. But that would only work if everyone had the same moral principles in the first place. But I mean, I guess just based under what ought to be, if everyone had the same moral, if everyone shared the same moral principles and rules, then yes, every single person will be able to act in morally good ways if they follow deontology. Dude, I feel like this has to, obviously it's not secular, I just don't understand it, but in my limited understanding, it sounds so secular. Deontology is good because everyone ought to be moral, but if everyone is moral, I don't know. Let's keep watching.
Think about promises, for example. If everybody broke their promises when it suited them, the concept of promises would be meaningless. It's not that breaking promises produces a bad set of outcomes. For Kant, it's just not rational to allow everybody to break their word, which means we shouldn't do it ourselves. Deontology.
If no one broke promises, what would be the point of making a promise in the first place? Am I just slowly slipping into nihilism the more I learn about this? If every single thing is righteously good, well, no, that's a bad example, every single thing. But at least for his example, if every single time I made a promise and every other human on this earth made a promise, they kept it, then there would be no reason to create a promise because it has no meaning anymore. Promise is only valuable because you are holding them to a moral standard that they can break. But if they can't break it based on their own ethics, then why would they need to make the promise in the first place? What about a situation where you're faced with a choice that would break a promise with at least one person? Like you promised one friend to go to a movie with them, but later remembered you'd already promised them you'd go to a museum the same day at the same time? That's a good question. If someone accidentally makes two promises. Yeah, if someone accidentally, like let's just say they have a really bad memory and they make two promises. Maybe according to Immanuel Kant, this would be rationally wrong and that you're expected to not do such a thing because you have a moral right to not make promises that you might break. I guess under Kant's universal law, or whatever he calls it, a person shouldn't ever do something like this. I mean, this is what ought to be. I don't know how practical this is in practice, or practical it is in practice. I don't know how pragmatic this is. Like, genuinely, I don't know if this is ever possible. Like, people make mistakes. I feel like the logic behind this almost requires someone to be perfect for it to actually work, for everyone to be perfect. Because if you make a mistake and then you wind up accidentally doing something considered to be immoral based on our own moral principles, then what? Is it just a cascading effect, or if someone else's morals say that they're always supposed to forgive accidents, then it doesn't matter. But even then, we did something immoral in the first place. I don't know.
Ontology also reminds us about the dignity of every person. Kant argued that we could never treat a person as if they were a tool. Sometimes it's tempting to use people, staff, clients, friends, and family, without showing respect for their rights, needs, or intrinsic dignity. Deontology reminds us to take account of the importance of every person as equal to our
Yeah.
own. Are there ways
I
you
agree.
make special exceptions for yourself? Can you think of times when you tend to use people as mere tools rather than respecting them as people with will, agency, and dignity of their own? Are there some basic rules that must never be broken, no matter the cost?
Okay. That, I can't say that that really helped me very much. So let's continue reading the article, because this is brain breaking. Okay, so this is going more into this Kantism. Already learned about duty, so let's move on. Kant argued that it was not the consequences of actions that make them right or wrong, but the motives of the person who carries out the action. Kant's first argument begins with the premise that the highest good must be both good in itself and good without qualification. What the hell does that even mean, bro? All right, let's look at the okay, how do you pronounce this? Summum bonum?
Summum bonum.
Okay, summum bonum. Summum bonum is a Latin expression meaning the highest or ultimate good, which was introduced by the Roman philosopher Cicero to denote the fundamental principle on which some system of ethics is based. That is, the aim of actions which, if consistently pursued, will lead to the best possible life. What? The aim of actions which, if consistently pursued, will lead to the best possible life. Since Cicero, the expression has acquired a secondary meaning as the essence or ultimate metaphysical principle of goodness itself, or what Plato called the form of good. These two meanings do not necessarily coincide. For example, Epicurean and Cyrenaic philosophers claim that the good life consistently aimed for pleasure, without suggesting that pleasure constituted the meaning or essence of goodness outside the ethical sphere. Holy, bro. In De Finibus, Cicero explains and compares the ethical systems of several schools of Greek philosophy, including Stoicism, Epicureanism, and Aristotelianism. Wow. And Platonism. Why is there an N? Why is there an N in Platonism? Platonism. Oh, Platonism. Okay. Why can't it just be Platoism? Why do they have to put the N in it? There's no N in Plato's name. Jesus. Like, why isn't it Stoicism? Stoicism. Jeez. Okay. Enough memeing. I'm only memeing because I don't understand. Okay. I don't really know what this means. And this did not help me understand what it meant either. I can't continue reading if I don't know I cannot continue reading if I don't understand like the building blocks upon why it exists in the first place. This is hard. This is really hard. I feel like this is why people study philosophy in college and not by themselves. You like the original definition from Cicero? The aim of actions, which if consistently pursued, will lead to the best possible life? Maybe you could just explain it to me what the hell that means, because I have no idea what that even means. The aim of actions, okay, so what we do, if we continuously do it, we should, have the best possible life? I don't even know how that makes sense. Seems like it is, if you consistently pursue following your moral code, it will only optimize your life to being as good as possible. I can see that. But how did you derive that from just this definition? With the implication that if you don't do that, you won't be able to achieve your best life. Yeah, I like that one. I like that one. So basically, if you always, so not just the aim of actions themselves, but the aim of moral actions will always lead to the best possible life. Yeah, okay. I like that. I like that. Okay, I don't want to learn about what it means in Christianity. Okay, whatever. I like that. Okay. I agree with you, Jack Pepsi. The highest good is the idea that you should use your pursuit of moral actions will lead to the best possible life. I like that answer. No, you got wisdom on your side. That's what's giving you these answers. And they're good ones too. It was good enough for me to run with it, so. Good enough for me. Something is good in itself when it is intrinsically good. And it's good without qualification when the addition of that thing never makes a situation ethically worse. Good without qualification when the addition of that thing never makes a situation ethically worse. Okay. So something is good when it's intrinsically good. How is that not how is that not circular? Something is good because it's good. But who determines what's good? Okay. Maybe if I read the book I would understand. So I'll just act like, based on Kant, what he is saying must be logical, which is things are good because they're good. And things are good when they don't make other things worse. Okay. True. Very true. You are so, Kant is honestly just so, he has such a way with words. Or whoever wrote this Wikipedia article has such a way with words. All right, let's keep going. Kant then argues that those things that are usually thought to be good, such as, Jesus Christ, sorry. Kant then argues that those things that are usually thought to be good, such as intelligence, perseverance, and pleasure, fail to be either intrinsically good or good without qualification. Pleasure, for example, appears not to be good without qualification, because when people take pleasure in watching someone suffer, this seems to make the situation ethically worse. He concludes that there's only one thing that is truly good. Nothing in the world, indeed nothing even beyond the world, can possibly be conceived which could be called good without qualification except a good will. What? This was his conclusion? Is that everything is bad except for a good will? Nothing is good except goodwill. And the Wikipedia article doesn't even want to go into detail on why that's true. Bro. Except a good will. So Kant is saying that everything is bad except for wanting to do good. Because wanting to do good is intrinsically good, and it's always ethically, it would never make something ethically worse. You know what? I can vibe with that. I can vibe with that, actually. Wait a second, that makes sense. There is no action that can't usually be, wait, what? there is no thing that can always be good without qualification if it is also intrinsically good. Therefore, the only thing that can be good, both intrinsically and without qualification, is the idea of wanting to do good. That's based. That's good. I like that. That is good. Good job, Kant. Too many goods, but whatever. I like that a lot. Kant then argues that the consequences of an act of willing cannot be used to determine that the person has a good will. Good consequences could arise by accident from an action that was motivated by a desire to cause harm. Wait. Kant then argues that the consequences of an act of willing cannot be used to determine that the person has a good will. Kant then argues the consequences cannot be used to determine the person has a good will. So the consequences of willing something to be good stream is lagging for some reason. Because I'm streaming to so many different services here. Oh yeah. Let's see here. No, we're doing okay. Let's see. Hand up, hand down. Oh yeah, we lagging, baby. We lagging. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay. Well, we continue anyway. Low latency mode. What is that? Whatever. Well, let's see what the latency is doing here. How many drop packets we got going on? Uh-oh. We are not doing too hot here. Okay, we're gonna drop. Okay, I gotta stop streaming for a second, guys, because we're getting some lag. I think I'm streaming to too many services here right now, so.